You are now in the deep end of horror.
And I will see the life run out of you.
Walking around in pig's noses, I'd like to introduce the absolute most wonderful pigskin villain of all time, Hal Havins. You don't get to see Hal very often. This is a real treat. Another huge treat is Terashita, who played Brandy. I know you're all, if you haven't met her already, the queen of B-movies who's made over 100 B-movies and horror movies, our most beloved co-star, Linnea Quigley.
The original Scream Queen, ladies and gentlemen.
And he'd love to think that I'm saving the best for last, but simply the last. I'm just kidding. We had a wonderful director on this movie, and we could not have done it without such creative, innovative, and stylish filming from Kevin Tenney.
All right. Welcome to Days of the Dead. Let's see. Can we have an extra mic over there? Pass that one. There we go.
This will be our mic and then your mics. Oh, we got one. There you go.
Is that it?
Just share. Right, I don't have keynotes, so we can't get that one fixed for us. All right, so welcome to Days of the Dead. Thank you very much for being here. How's your guys' show going?
Great.
Great. All right, so I guess what I'd like to start out with is asking you guys what current projects you're working on, what things you have in the works, what are you doing these days, hobbies, interests, whatever you've got going on.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll roll it down. I have a charity in Africa called Archangel, and I go into the schools and we dance as elephants, we draw elephants, we make up theater about poaching and protecting animals. In South Africa, I do it for the lions, Rwanda for the gorilla, and that's how I'm using my devilishly demonic dance skills to help protect animals in Africa. I've got 6 books out. If you don't know me as an author, go to my Amazon page, put in my name, and you'll find 6 books about communicating with animals. I am writing. I'm full of secrets. I'm not going to say anything about anything yet. I'm working on something. So that's all y'all need to know. I got something up my sleeve.
If you're working on something, you know it's going to go.
Well, it better, baby, or I'm going to get possessed and kill everybody in the
So we hope this works out.
Yes.
We do. We do.
Is it done? Okay.
Okay, first up, I've started my sanctuary, Moulin Rouge. I've got 12 rescue dogs. Yay! And I have a GoFundMe page for them, and I'm gonna keep people up to date where their money's going, like, stories about them and everything. Also, next weekend, Amelia and I will be in Austin, Texas, with photo ops too.
That's called the Cult Classic.
Yes.
The next Days of the Dead is in Vegas. We'll be
Yes.
together again. I just booked a gig in Edmonton, if there are any Canadians
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
And hopefully I'll be able to go. And then after Austin, I do a film called Jasper, and it's like a serial killer, pig farmer guy. It's a true story, so it's gonna be interesting. Then after that, a week later, I go to New Zealand, and I'm doing a film called Buzzkill. Then I come back and do a film called, oh my God, okay, Killer Babes and the, what is it? And the Frightening Film Fiasco. which will be a great one by Brett Mullins. It'll be very good. He's a good director.
Did you say the first one's about a pig farmer?
A pig farmer,
And
serial
they
killer.
didn't cast Hal?
Oh!
What
Well,
were
maybe they
thinking?
need a Hal.
What were they?
Everyone, don't you guys think Hal would be a good pig farmer? And I'm not sure what comes after that. Maybe Edmonton.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'll
So
go without you, girl.
yeah, I want to go.
Okay, well, I haven't started acting again.
Yes.
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 That's true, yeah. But I'm actually, what I've been working on are some books. And I think that the series of books that I'm gonna be putting out, everybody's gonna really, really want to see. It's more photo. It's called My Photo Book of Curious Things. And,
So you changed the title from Jill's Crazy Shit from Outer Space.
but anyway, it's gonna be an ebook so that everybody can zoom in and be like, I'll let everybody just see what they wanna, what they wanna see. Yeah, some people will be very scared. And some people will be like, how can that be? So, but I think volume 1, I'm gonna be like, WTF? Do you see stuff too?
No, we were gonna call it What the Fuck Is That?
I know, that's
So
true
it's
too. I can do
about
that too.
supernatural phenomena.
But you guys, it's very interesting, and you'll see why. So, yeah, they've seen some of the photos, but.
She takes pictures of weird shit.
So it's mostly just me and Hal.
Naked, right? Oh, God.
Nobody wants to see that.
Well, this panel just took a weird turn.
Oh, I'm sorry, what was the question again? I dozed off for a moment.
What you're doing?
That's right. I'm currently homeless and selling my body on the street for food. On the plus side, though, I recently beat anorexia, so I'm doing okay there. Actually, I was just contacted by an artist from DC who wants to turn one of my unproduced horror screenplays into a horror graphic novel. So
That's cool.
and he just contacted me the day I was got on the plane for here.
How graphic is it?
It's X-rated, baby.
Oh my God.
That was like
Talking to the mic.
a bridge version.
Yeah, that's
God, the last time you did that to me, I'm still in therapy.
Told you.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Only thing I got going, I did shot a pilot recently for one of the larger streaming services, but they're all secretive, so you can't say anything about it, other than I had a job. And we're waiting to hear back if it goes to series. So, yeah, that's it. Working, just grinding it out, still working. I can't think of anything I did other than that recently.
Just being you is enough.
Just being me is enough. I used to do this though. I used to do this in like interviews when they go, "Well, what did you do recently?" And I literally would go, "Hand me my resume," because I don't know. It's like actor's memory. You remember something as long as you need it, and then it just disappears.
Like prepping for a test.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same
Although
thing.
it appears that you're sundowning earlier than usual.
Yeah. Breakdowning again. All right. Yeah, but that's it. Yeah, I shot a pilot, and we're waiting to hear to go back to series. And actually, I'm supposed to have a meeting tonight about film.
Ooh, good.
Oddly enough, yeah, they contacted like 2 days ago, and Susan's like, "Well, he's going to be in Atlanta, so you might as well talk to him."
Yeah,
And that's what happened. All right, so yeah, nothing.
good.
But I'll be playing the local bar really soon.
By the meal.
All right, so Night of the Demons was filmed in about roughly 4 weeks in 1987 in South Central Los Angeles. That was roughly about the height of all the gang activity in LA with the Bloods and the Crips. Did you guys have any issues filming in South Central LA with all the gang activity that was going on at the time?
Not really, no.
None at all.
No.
All
The
we have
locals-
to do is step outside on the sidewalk in our makeup and any gang at all. We did that. All of a sudden they just, scatter like roaches.
Yes.
So now we know why there was a peace treaty between the Bloods and the Crips. They had to get together.
Hal
They
and
were
Bill
scared.
Tanzini were in makeup and they went to a taco truck and there were a bunch of gangbangers around the taco truck, and when they stepped into the light, the gangbangers split.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's funny.
You remember the little burrito place across the street?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's where you went?
Yeah, we went over there and there's like these hard asses sitting at the table. And as soon as we got close enough, they were gone.
That's
and I didn't even
great.
know it. Phil's like, check it out.
You were powerful.
It was creepy. It was full of makeup.
Nice.
But you forget. That's the thing. You're wearing
Yeah, you
it.
do.
You forget you're wearing it.
I never forgot I was wearing it.
I remember.
I bet you did.
When my cheeks were hugged behind my head and I had on fangs that were making my gums bleed and I couldn't even blink, I was in so much pain.
Oh, well,
I never forgot I was
yeah,
wearing the
that's the
makeup.
thing.
There was never a moment that I was like, gosh, am I still in possession of makeup?
There was a funny part to that because we shot at night, right? So, and I smoked back then. So I go out into the front yard of this house and smoke. And I noticed, like, when it would get morning and kids were walking to school, like these little kids. And you'd see them just giving it over and over and over again. But like I said, you forget you're wearing makeup. And after about 3 days of these kids, I noticed they finally stopped walking on our side of the street. They go on the other side of the street. So then there was a little alcove I started going to because I was scaring children. While it was awesome in one way, it was kind of sad in another way.
That's funny.
But yeah, no, it's really true. They started crossing the street. So I think my director did the same thing.
Yeah.
I think it was a comment on the talent.
Now, if you did it now with your beard, they'd say, honey, something happened to Santa Claus.
I get a lot of weird
That's
Santa Claus
cute.
remarks, yeah.
All right,
But,
so,
I never played a Santa Claus. I never booked a Santa Claus, because Santa Claus is really sweet. The only Santa Claus I ever played in my life was an alcoholic Santa Claus. Again, I think it says something about my skill level.
You have a very specific skill set.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Dedicated to.
see, if only they would have rewritten Bad Santa.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh, I love that movie.
All right, so with Night of Demons being shot in 4 weeks, what was the most demanding part of such a grueling filming schedule, other than the heavy makeup?
We were shooting in the summer, so the nights are shorter.
Right.
So it's not like we didn't have 12 hours, we had 10. So we only had 4 weeks and we had to shoot in 10 hours. As a matter of fact, her close up at the bottom of the stairs, when Judy and Roger tried to run down the stairs and she's at the bottom of the stairs, she goes, where are you going? And then they have to turn around and run back into the house. We had daylight, we had to tent her. And because it was a close up, we could, but the kids coming down the stairs were wide shots, so we were rushing to get that before the sun came. Usually you're rushing to get your shot before the sun goes down. We were always rushing to get it before the sun comes up. But there were a lot of people in close-ups where we just tented them and lit them and shot it that way because we couldn't get it all in 10 hours. So that was really challenging. And that was a challenge we had every day, whether we had makeup or not. I'm done.
All right, so
And
here's the most stressful part for me anyway, and probably for you, Angela, was turnaround time. We're supposed to get a certain amount of turnaround time from the time of release to the time we have to come back. And because of makeup, and it would take, I don't know, what it take to get the makeup off? About an hour and a half?
At least
It took a long time to get it off.
3 to 5.
It took, well, for my full demon, it took 4.5 hours. For the burn demon, it took 11.5 hours. So because of that, you get what's called a turnaround bump. When they screw you on your turnaround time, they pay you for it. So it was bad for them, but it was really good for me. Because I had I had several 23-hour days. I had like 4 or 5 of them.
Wow.
I was a little kid. I was like, this is big, man. I want to do this forever. Exactly. It's not like a. So anyway, that's the stressful part is not really sleeping. But back then, when you're young and crazy, you don't care.
Now, even though you said not the makeup was a bitch. It was horrible, and we had to go in so early and stay so late. So it was definitely the worst thing, don't you guys think? Yeah.
No, I didn't mind the makeup at all.
It's 'cause you
I
made
loved it.
money.
I was comfortable in it. I don't know why. It didn't bug me. But as Amelia reminded me, the only part I hated about it was getting to take it off. Because they would take it off with this solvent, because it was really glued on well. And they use a little bristle brush, and they just, bit at a time, they stab you with the solvent in the face. It's like getting a tattoo. And after about the third day, it hurt so incredibly bad, I was begging them to let me take it home. I'm like, oh, I'll wear it home, I'll sleep, and I'll be careful. And they're like, no, it won't last. Because the stuff degenerates. It's really soft, so it degenerates by itself anyway. And they're like, it won't last, and they wouldn't let me take it home. But I remember that one day that you reminded me of, it hurt so bad, it was nuts. And they just loved it. They just sit there and stab you in the face and laugh. They loved it.
Well, you know, the other thing is not only was the makeup brutal, but because of the way the script was written, it's not like we had to have a film where they weren't possessed and then they got possessed and we just kept them that way.
Right.
They would constantly, to fuck with the other kids, they would bump in and out of the possession, which meant when you shoot a film, you break it down by scenes. Everything that takes place in the living room, we shoot that first. Then we move to another room, we shoot all the scenes out of order, but everything that takes place in that room. And you light the room, you shoot it, then you move on. But we would have to actually light the room, say shoot one of these guys with no makeup, and then they'd have to go away for 3, 4, 5 hours to do the makeup, and we'd have to stop shooting because the rest of the scene they're going to be possessed, and go to another room and shoot something different, and then when they come back for makeup, we'd go back. So the scheduling was just not the way everyone's used to doing a film, so I was always like, where the fuck what room are we in now? You know what I mean? It was just, and it was hard on everybody. We had a script that was so broken down because it wasn't just broken down by scenes, it was broken down by makeup effects and what the effect was and how made up they were. And then of course, because they're all supposedly wearing one costume for one night, everyone had 9 costumes that were distressed at different levels based on when they wore that night. We had to keep track of, oh, this would be after she did that, but before she did that, so it would be distress. So all that stuff just complicated.
Yeah, that's a continuity
Mine
nightmare.
was easy. My head was back here.
That's nice.
They just, I know, I had it easy. I was very
You literally had eyes in the back of your head.
Oh, that's
I
funny.
did.
She
Oh
did.
my
Yeah.
God. My
and
hair
then
was like
stuck
this.
her face on the back of her head. She was set to
You
go.
got it easy. Wow.
The worst thing for me was just getting my face cast with all that stuff. They had to pin all my hair up in a
Bun.
hairnet, yeah. And then the first couple times they weren't going fast enough, so I had to do it mostly in a walk-in refrigerator.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and then I was sitting in a chair in the walk-in with straws up my nose, but it's like the weirdest feeling. It just like oozed down over you.
They put you in a walk-in.
The walk-in
That's
refrigerator.
terrible.
More uncomfortable.
Yeah, really.
It wasn't too terrifying. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't too bad. That was cool. Cooler, you know.
That's right, it was summer.
And you could breathe. You know, at least I didn't feel like I was breathing better, even though I had straws up my nose. You know, so like, yeah. But other than that, it was like I had it pretty good
Yeah.
for the makeup
did.
stuff. Yeah. Other than when I had to try and walk backwards
Downstairs.
down those stairs, I thought, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna eat.
Yeah.
Well, you know what was funny because talking about that is when Amelia comes out after she's been burned, she's smoking.
Yes.
Right? So they had a tube under her dress inside the house and blew a bunch of smoke up her skirt that would come out. Then she
I volunteered, but they wouldn't let me.
Then she walks out, and the guy with the hose had to run around the other way, come in and be under the frame, and when she comes and stops and says her line, to shove the tube back up her dress to add more smoke.
And at one point, Steve Johnson was smoking cigarettes
Yeah.
and blowing them into the tubes. And I got smoke coming out of my dress, out of my wrists, and it was Steve smoking
Oh my God.
frantically and blowing into the tubes. I mean, you know, the kind of movie that you make in your backyard when you're 12 years old.
Right.
Maybe 14. But a lot of the effects, you get very creative when there's no money.
Yeah.
And Kevin got very creative. I mean, the scene where I'm floating down the hallway, I'm on roller skates. That's all it is. Because we didn't have any money. So that's,
You never want to know how the sausage.
all these things go
takes the fun out of it.
Well, you gave away that secret.
Yeah.
They know it all.
Brings a whole new meaning to blowing smoke up here.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so I read somewhere that the original name of the film was Halloween Party. Is there any specific reason why the name got changed? Or?
Mustafa Akkad called our executive producer because we had Halloween in the title, threatened to sue us. And it's like, it's a holiday, you can't sue us. And he said, and besides, we've already got our E&O insurance, which is errors and omissions insurance, so that when someone shows it in the theater or a distributor agrees to take it on, the film has been insured by someone who says, yeah, there's nothing here, but if you do get sued, we'll cover it. And without E&O, no one will distribute the film. So and Walter said, we already have the E&O, so there's nothing you can do. And he said, you might have it on this one, but I'll make sure you never get it on your next one.
Oh, jeez.
And I was okay with that because I didn't really like the title Halloween Party. But what bothered me was the distributors were thinking, well, if we can't call it Halloween Party, their suits all got together and brainstormed and came up with the brilliant title, Demon Boogie. And I said, oh my fucking God, that cannot be the title. And I went home and I typed up 50 titles. The Night of the Demons, The House of Demons, Night of the Whole House.
But Kevin, if it had been Demon Boogie, I could have kept the roller skates on throughout the whole film.
Oh my God.
Well, you remember in Night of the Demons 3, Dennis does that jazzy version and has you talk through it, and the title is Demon Boogie. So like our joke about the fact that they tried to take the first one.
Disco ball, disco ball.
Yeah. So anyway, that's Halloween Party with the. Oh, I gotta take this as my agent. No, I'm kidding.
Shh! Everybody be quiet. This is a work call.
It's the wife. She thinks I'm at work. That's how much I love my fans. Just an alarm. I gotta go get my ticket for my flight home.
Yes.
And I just needed to remind myself to go do that. There you go.
Well,
I love you all, and I'm out of here.
No, he's serious. He's got to go do his
He does. He's
Come
flying
back after your
Southwest.
tenure.
Kevin, thank you very much. We'll see you soon, my friend.
There is one story I don't think I've ever told in public. You remember, but I don't think I've ever told it in public. If you remember, I had an earring that was a pair of handcuffs that hung down. And when we did the kiss scene and she bit out my tongue and I spun off of her, that handcuff got stuck in her lace glove and ripped out of my ear.
Oh.
Totally forgot.
Yeah.
So your scream was method acting.
We're gonna go shoot it again. So we're getting ready to shoot it again. I go into makeup and they're cleaning off all the blood so I can do it again. And I feel this tugging on my ear and I hear the makeup artist go, "Oh no, that's you." Because it had torn out the earlobe. It was hanging like from inside out. She was like trying to pull it off. So luckily we were professional enough that we had an actual paramedic on set.
Did it get
And-
sewed?
No, it didn't get sewed, but here's the thing. Because of continuity, there was no way I was doing the rest of the film without that earring. So I go to the paramedic. I actually just told the makeup, I said, shove it back in. And they're like, I'm not going to shove it back. We haven't found it. It was actually stuck on your wrist still.
Oh.
So we went and found it. And I'm like, stick it back in. And she's like, I'm not sticking it back in. You crazy. So we get the paramedic. And the paramedic is like, you sure you want to do this? This is going to hurt like hell. I'm like, do it. The problem was that it had already scabbed over by then.
Oh, no.
And he puts it in forceps and he just shoves it back through.
You mean he
And
made a new hole?
Yeah, he just shoved
Made
it
a
back
new
through the
hole.
scab.
He had to.
You can actually see there's a scar that runs down my earlobe.
Wow.
And he shoved it back through and it's over the film and it because of this infected mess. But we kept putting makeup over it. there's one shot in the film where I don't have it, and that's where I'm holding like this and the blood shooting out, and you'll see it's gone, but in the next shot it's there.
That's horrible.
And that's because I love you guys so much.
He wanted to
So,
look.
how many people still want to be an actor?
Oh, can I do
Oh, no,
one?
it's cool being an actor, just don't be a fat actor.
Well, I'm out.
Can I do one thing? I just wanted to say Ken Hall is here, the director, writer of a lot of movies I did and the horror workout. There he is.
All right, guys. So here's the gig. I've got enough time for a few questions from the audience. Is there anybody in the audience who has a question? Front row right here. Yeah, that's you. Yeah.
First, I have to say a funny story. When I was a teenager.
Hang on one second. Let me come over here.
Hello. When I was a teenager, one night, I already seen the movie because I'm a huge horror fan, but I was sleeping and in the middle of the night, I just woke up. I said, let me turn on the TV. And Angela's face was gliding down at me in the hallway, but now I know it's rollerblades. But she was gliding down the screen, and in the middle of the night, half asleep, I just see her face coming at me. It scared the living crap out of me. I turned off the TV, and then this was back when analog TV was, so her face was imprinted on the screen. So as I looked at the screen, saw the imprint of Angela's face. I slept with the covers over my face. I was about 15, but still, the covers over my face saved me. I just have to tell you. But my question to you is, do you have a favorite scene from the movie, each of you?
Yeah. I think we all do. Yeah. What's your favorite scene?
I gotta think about it.
Okay. My favorite scene is when I turn normal again and say, run, Judy, run. See, Judy, run. I love that scene. It's fun. And I wasn't in makeup.
Actually, I just watched it recently, and I think it's kind of a sequence. It's the seance with the mirror and a little bit before, because everything's relatively normal and everybody's just kind of chatting and smart-assing each other. It's just kind of, I don't know, I like it. I was kind of warm to it. Because then it turns into the horror, you know. And,
Is that when the camera's going around?
yeah, well, like, you know, with the mirror, when we're doing the seance.
That. Yes.
And then the scene before, it's kind of the end of the party and everybody's talking to each other.
Yes.
Yeah, the camera was, just that little sequence. It's kind of nice because everybody was together and I don't know. I get all warm and sappy about crap because I'm old.
Oh my God, and the lipstick scene's my favorite too. How could I forget that? The lipstick scene over that one, yes. Duh. What about yours?
Oh, golly, I don't know. I mean, I just had a lot of fun all the time. But
I'm
you know
sure
what I
it was the
noticed?
coffin
You
scene,
know-
right? Wasn't that the most joyful moment?
Oh,
of your
yeah,
life?
that's.
Oh.
No, you know what I noticed though? My lines seem to smell lots of stuff. Like, when I walked into the house, I'm like, you know, I said something about how it smelled. You know what I mean? Don't you? And then I forgot that. Circle.
Oh, it's
There's
true.
like, I'm just smelling
Jill, you were the sniffer dog. We should have changed your costume.
That's your John Travolta.
Oh my God.
But
What
it
about
was
you?
fun. I mean, I don't know. We had so much fun.
Yeah. You liked all the scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when we were waiting, some of us were playing poker with Nilla wafers for our poker chips.
that's cute. Vanilla wafers?
Yeah, we were betting her. Yeah.
Nilla wafers,
Nilla
that's
wafers,
right.
yeah.
And Phil Tanzini with farts. I always bring this up. Max, Phil Tanzini, the funniest man on earth. I'm sure they can all hear me. He's literally the funniest man on earth. He has got 101 ways to say fart. And the list just goes on and on and on. And after about 9, you're in tears. And after about 40, you have to go to the bathroom. It just doesn't stop. Don't you remember him doing that?
No.
Oh, every time he stood still, I made him do it again because it was hilarious. Yes, and perennially 12. Farts are funny. I don't care. And, I mean, he had everything. And some of the names were really complex. But it was just brilliant. I don't remember any of them. It was too many. I was screaming all the time. Yeah. That's my favorite thing.
It's kind of like Harlan Pepper naming nuts.
Yes. Oh my God, I
One of my
love that
favorite
movie. I
scenes.
love that
Best
movie.
in show.
Yes.
in the South where you name nuts and you pick up with your hands out.
Yes.
Unlike you, I'm not just going to talk about scenes that I was in.
I thought that's what she meant. Did you mean scenes we were in?
My favorite scenes that I was in, my favorite scenes of the movie were the ones I was in.
Oh, I thought it was our favorite.
It's your favorite scene.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay, I got it wrong. I didn't
Oh,
even
my
mean
favorite
it.
scene. That's the surfing scene in Apocalypse Now.
You were in.
The surfing scene in Apocalypse Now. Favorite scene.
Oh, we could go to any movie, yes.
Yeah.
My favorite scene that I was in that everybody else was in
Yeah.
was also that.
Yeah.
There's a spinning camera on every single face when everybody is beginning to get possessed. And it is the fart scene. What's the smell? What's the this? What's the that?
Oh, yeah.
And then when we have the broken mirror and every face appears in that, that was
That's what I like,
extremely
yeah.
intricate to try to make sure that every kid could get in a piece of the mirror without anything showing, without the camera
That was
showing.
hard.
It was hard. And I think that was a really beautiful, magical scene. Aside from that, my favorite things in the movie were every scene that I was in.
All right.
Your
dance, your dance.
Joe Collins.
Your dance was great.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I love this movie. It's one of my favorites. I've met every one of you. But did y'all, with your own personal, did you put your own personal spin on each character? And was it like you are in real life, the characters? Anything? And I'm not talking about even the demons. I'm talking about just the character itself.
I was just playing myself.
I think that the character came out of what was written and it just flowed. It has to be part of ourselves somewhere. So I think the way it was written was what I was like going out of.
Yeah. Well, you know what though? When I auditioned actually for. Actually, I auditioned with something from the Witchboard.
Right.
Right?
Oh.
Yeah. And then I was like evil. But then they brought me in and I had to be the opposite of that, so.
Yeah, I think it was because Kevin was having to rewrite your character. He didn't like the scene, so he's having to redo it. They weren't done yet.
Okay.
So it wasn't for Witchboard, I don't think. I think he had Joe specifically write an audition scene for you that was different.
Wow, that's kind of nice.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Woo.
I'll have that.
He goes, I hope to hell, no, I hope I'm not Stitch.
Yeah.
I know there's like a big chunk, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm happy. I like to be happy. That's what I choose. So if she was kind of beboppy, then I'm like kind of beboppy too.
You're a beboppy kind of girl.
And honestly, one of my favorite scenes in the movie is the very first indication that anybody's possessed, and it's you. You have your head back,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then you drop it down. Now, our cheeks were hooked behind her head,
Like yours.
and that's what gives it that incredibly scary look with the prosthetics. I love that one. And in all honesty, because it was 80s, it was low budget, it was something that we thought would be gone in a matter of a month. Maybe we hoped it would be, sweeping it under the rug, we're trying to get other jobs. Taken seriously back in the time where you would be stereotyped. After I made those 3 movies, no one would hire me. People say, why did you quit acting? Because no one would hire me. All my take was I was in possession.
Yeah.
And at that time, it was a huge stigma on it. And now it's the thing.
Yeah, you're right.
Now everything is Dawn of the Days That Are Dead, Walking Dead, it's everything. Every other show on Netflix is a zombie movie, is a vampire. And now it's very in vogue. And at the time, it was incredibly taboo. But we as actors were allowed to go absolutely freaking crazy. And I know I had been auditioning for things and not getting it. And you start getting beaten down and you're frustrated and you're pent up. As a dancer, I couldn't go as crazy as I wanted to go in the movies and rock videos I was getting. And the thing about this cast is that when somebody says, and now Stooge is possessed, and now Freddy's possessed, and Linnea, Suzanne's possessed, what does that mean? You know, how do you play possessed? As an actor, and I'm looking at Angela's possessed, what does that mean? And every one of us had to create something that was believable and really scary. And everybody, and that's improv. There's no way to direct, you can't pull that out of an actor. If they can't do it, they can't do it. And everybody in this movie could do it and brought a whole lot of their own personality. And that was just like raw, wild rage,
Well,
you know.
my final thought is this, not to interrupt, but when people dump on horror, remember, this was the #1 film in the country per screen for 6 weeks.
That's good.
#1.
I didn't know that.
didn't know that.
If you can find the old Hollywood Reporters,
Yeah.
we were above, I think it was Beverly Hills Cop,
Wow.
a bunch of them. Because we were in very few theaters, so anybody wanted to see it with those theaters. So our per screen was like triple what everybody else had.
Yeah, and then I found out like on
So
the East
there you go,
Coast-
people like horror.
Yeah.
Anybody goes, oh, you like horror? I don't like horror. Go, you like The Exorcist? Yeah. You like aliens? Yeah. Then shut up.
Yeah.
I found out on the East Coast when the opening weekend, it was like a Thanksgiving weekend, it
Just
came
put
number
that for
2. Oh, it came number 2, and the first one was Scrooge.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good.
I know.
Yeah, so overall, the film got pretty glowing reviews. In 1987, times were a little bit different, but the one review that it did get that was a negative review was from the New York Times, and they accused the film of being sexist. What are your thoughts on that?
I got a thought on that. First off, probably was a little bit. But secondly, because of these shows, I was doing some research trying to find shots and stuff from people. Apparently, it is the first horror film when a fat guy was allowed to be sexual without being a rapist.
Really?
So maybe it broke a glass barrier there, right? A little fat glass ceiling. Because if you think about it, Stooge was about love. He was gentle in a way. He was crass, but he wasn't brutal.
No.
So there you go.
Well, for fat guys everywhere, thank you.
Oh.
You're welcome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please do me a favor, put your hands together. Big round of applause.
Click like, subscribe, or even comment below because I want to hear what you think.
No fair.